Welcome friends to another new session from MGL Tech Tutorials. In this session we are going to understand concept within cloud computing. So buzzword in the tech industry, and it is more perhaps a no computer term is more misunderstood than cloud computing. Despite being one of the biggest buzzword in the tech, many don't know what it actually means. And we are here to cut through the haze and bring you some clarity. Okay, so with cloud computing, we are going to cover the basic what we understand by the cloud computing, then the characteristic of cloud computing, then different types of clouds we have within cloud computing, then again the services provided by the cloud computing, and then the share responsibility model in cloud for each of these services. And then we will have a fun time, more like a quiz time, to just rehearse what we understood throughout the session. So moving to the first point, that is what is cloud computing. As I said, cloud is not really the internet, neither virtualization. It's not a verb, neither an app, or it's something not in cloud, always located somewhere far away in the cloud. It's not the case. So what is cloud computing? So cloud computing is the delivery of computing services and cloud services over the internet that can be rapidly configured and utilized with minimal user efforts or interaction. Let's understand now each and every term in this definition of cloud computing, which we just talked about, right? So we say cloud computing is delivery of computing services. So what is computing services? So computing services, you can include common IT infrastructure such as virtual machines, VM we call, right? Access to the server, which is used for computing power, right? Then we have a storage, databases, networking, and few cloud application. This all comes under the computing services. And cloud services, when we say, it talks about things like Internet of Things, IoT, machine learning, or artificial intelligence. So basically, cloud computing is a delivery of all these services, of computing services and cloud services over the internet. And as it is on the overnet internet, right, it is rapidly configured, and you don't really have to, not much interaction needed from the user. It is pre-configured and you just have to utilize it, right? Example, I can give you, like, if example of any utility companies you take, like water, electricity, natural gas. How much you need, how much you consumed, you pay for that. When you need, you on it, use it, and off it, right? So let's take example of water, suppose. So if you need one bottle of water, you will, on the tap of the water, it will pick the water from somewhere from the reservoir. You don't have to worry about where the reservoir is located and how it is storage and everything. You just turn on your tap, you fill your bottle, you switch off the tap, and done. So your water, whatever you received, that is what you consumed, you will pay for that only. For example, electricity, right? You switch and switch off the button. That amount of time you use that electricity, right? For that, at the end of the month, you pay the bill. But you don't have to really bother, where the pole is and where these all switches are configured and everything. You just use it. So that is the exact thing with the cloud computing. It is gives you that advantage. You don't have to bother about certain things. You have to concentrate what you really need from it, right? So as a cloud computing uses the internet to deliver these services. I hope things are clear. Okay, if no, just put it in the comment. We will go through the question if you have any question with respect to this explanation with cloud computing, and I am happy to answer there. As cloud computing uses internet, right? So it deliver the services without constraint of physical infra. The way for the water, we don't have to really worry about where is a reservoir or tank is located, whether it is clean or not. That is a service provider of water has to worry about. What my job as an end user is, I'm using that water and I'm paying for it. So the quality, where to store, how to store, that is all taken care by the service provider. I'm not worried about that as an end user. And that's what the cloud computing is giving, and that's why the companies nowadays, right, the IT industry is in bloom. Like the number of companies are using the services from IT providers or the cloud providers, and they are only concentrating on their business rather than worrying about all these infras or software or anything like that, right? So if I give you example of, I'm mentioning a lot of time cloud providers, cloud computing providers, so which are in market right now, which we know, right? So I think everybody knows Amazon, which is like AWS, with Microsoft Azure, Google GCP, Salesforce. So there are a lot of players right now in the cloud providers as well. I hope the cloud computing definition is clear to you guys. Again, I'm repeating, if you have any question, any doubt with whatever explanation we just did, just mention in the comment. I'm happy to reply over that. Okay, now moving to the next point was our characteristics of cloud computing. So just now, whatever explanation we heard, a lot of things you are already maybe guessing, okay, these are the advantage when you use the cloud computing. So very first will come, right? On demand self-service. So before that, these are like according to the NIST, that is our National Institute of Standard and Technology. Cloud computing has a 5 essential characteristics: on-demand self-service, share resource pooling, rapid elasticity, measured services, broad network access, those which I mark in the green in the slide, right? And then few are more characteristic. If you dig more, right, you will get to know virtualization is one of the major property of it, and multi-tenancy as well. Now we'll go one by one. So first of all, on demand self service. So if you see the pictorial presentation I given, right, I shown the water tap and one bottle there, right? So the same example which we talked about in previous slide, right, that when you need, turn on tap, receive instantly, and switch off the tap. That's it. So that is how on demand, when you need, it is there. Similar, just similar to water, electricity example, if you just want to have an analogy in mind to understand on demand self service. Clear? Now moving to next property of it or characteristic of it, that is shared resource pooling. When you turn on your tap, do you know like which water drop will come to your bottle, right? It is not sure because it's shared by many. It is somewhere stored in big reservoir or tank, and from there that water is supplied to lot of people. So you are there is it's more like shared by many, so there is no guarantee which specific water drop will come to your bottle. So that similar way in our computer world, we say there is no guarantee which computer resource will come from, right? So that is what the share resource pooling talks about. Then third characteristic is the rapid elasticity, and which we call, right, quickly, right? I want to now have, I was having a need of one bottle earlier, but now I want a 10 bottle for 1 hour, right? So it has, this cloud computing has capability to quickly adjust the amount of computing resources you can access to meet your needs. The quantity will increase, the amount of speed. So that scalability, agility is there with the cloud computing. So that's called a rapid elasticity. Then fourth characteristic is the measure services. As I will repeat again, like when we say I'm using electricity and at the end of month I'm paying certain bills. So based on your reading, like how much you used that, consumed that electricity or water, based on that the bill will come to you, right? Similar way, cloud web provider will tracks how many resources you used during the given period of time. Cloud provider will repeat again, like AWS, Microsoft Azure is there, the GCP is there. So they are the cloud. So they are tracking how many resources you are using for a given time period, and according to that, pay as you go basis. Then fifth characteristic is the broad network access. So broad network access, when we say, as we say, it is provided over the internet. So what is internet? Okay, so over the internet means there could be a variety of the computer networks, right? So that's why it called as a provided over the broad networks. So it could be different routes, but we don't have to really bother, but that's how the availability is there. Okay, and six characteristics. So these are all 5 from the NIST, and 6 and 7 are the like virtualization and multi-tenancy. These are mainly like the technology to, we're abstracting hardware layer. So from hardware we're creating a logical resources. So virtual machine is one of the example of, you can call it a virtualization. The characteristics of the cloud computing. Again, any question, any explanation not clear, mention into the comment below the video, and I will try to answer those question if any. Okay, hope this is clear. We will move to the next point within our basic cloud computing concept, that those are the services. So sorry, what are the types of cloud? So we have total 5 main types of the cloud. Okay, and mainly used are the first four, like the private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and community cloud. So and there is also a multi-cloud concept. Okay, so if we see in the diagram, right, so very first is a public cloud. I try to explain. If we look into the diagram which I provided for public cloud, right, I'm showing different organization, three different organization accessing data from a cloud. So it means it is open for use by public and managed by cloud provider over the internet. There is no restriction to access it. Example, google.com, right? This is something publicly available. Anybody can use it. So it is provided by Google provider, but we are using it, right, without any restriction. Similar way, if you go for the private cloud, second one type, so it is private to that particular organization. So if you're working for suppose XYZ company, so whatever confidential data they have within their own organization, within their own private infrastructure, nobody can access it. So it is a private cloud. Okay, or you can call it as even the off on premises, right? Within a premises everything is there. So this is on premises. When we say public, it is more like a off premises, correct? Now, so that way the on and off premises concept as well clear. Okay, now moving to third is a hybrid cloud. As name says, it is a heterogeneous distributed system. So when we say heterogeneous distributed system, means it is composed of two or more different types of clouds, right? And they are working together as a single entity. So it could be, public, some data we are having on a public and some on the private. So that's a hybrid cloud we can call. In a diagram it will be clear. See, organization having its own private cloud and also it to access to or uses services from the public cloud. So picture as well, this pictorial presentation of hybrid cloud can also give you the clarity what we understand by the hybrid cloud. Now, if we move to the fourth type, that is community cloud. So as name says, community, right? It is specific to certain concern, shared concern. So you can say the community cloud is exclusively used by a specific community, industry, vendors, or business sector with shared concern or task. And it may exist on-prem or off-prem, right? So example I give, like hospital, like there are number of hospitals, but they might be using a particular common database or common infra or common cloud from where they are using certain services like patient data, disease information, like that. So they have a common concern, that is a health, and they are having that community cloud for them. So that is example of community cloud. Now moving to the last type, that is a multi-cloud, fifth one. So as name again says, multi-cloud. So it is basically, it's different from hybrid. Hybrid is a combination of, or it's composing of two or more different types of cloud types, either public, private, or community. That is hybrid. But multi-cloud is something like the comprises of multiple cloud services provider. Like I can have a few services used from the Amazon, few from Microsoft, few from Google, depending on my organization need. So that is multi-cloud. So I can use multiple cloud provider. So that is a multi-cloud one. Yeah, clear? So this is all about the types of cloud. Again, any question, not you didn't get anything clearly, then just mention in the comment your question queries. Happy to help you there. Okay, moving to next slide. Next slide we are going to cover our cloud computing services. So I think we are aware of these terms. We always heard, right? IaaS, infrastructure as a service. PaaS, that is a platform as a service. Then say SaaS, that is a software as a service. So we have heard this, but what really that means? So if you see my pictorial presentation I've given for the cloud computing services, you will find it's more like a stack structure, right? The layer architecture, like a stack. So my base is my IaaS, middle is my PaaS, and then my top is a SaaS. So we'll start from the base. Okay, so IaaS, as we said, it is an infrastructure as a service. So it is more about the hosting, right? More about the bottom layer of any IT infrastructure, like networking, storage, databases, servers, compute powers. So that all comes inside my IaaS. So it is like if we want to be as a IaaS, you have to move to it. It's more like a hosting, like complete infrastructure is provided as a outsourcing to the enterprises such as networking equipment, devices, database, and web servers. And it is more on the pay as you go basis. And it provides the most control because from the base you have a control, right? So you have a most control. Example, you can say your virtual machines. Recent within Azure, there is a dev test lab. If you heard of this concept, right? And who use it? Like when we say users, end user for these are like the IT administrator or network admins. Example, Azure, GCP, AWS, all these cloud providers, which we talked earlier as well, right? So this all comes in the IaaS. A key point is it's more like the hosting. Secondly, complete infra is provided as a service. That's why it's IaaS, and pay as you go basis. You have to pay for it, basically on the users basis, and it provide the most control. So these are the key points. Okay, moving to the PaaS. What is PaaS? So PaaS again a platform as a service. So platform is like it is allowing to build on top of it. So infra is taken care by the cloud provider, but me, I'm using PaaS, like I'm building on that. So I have a control from my development start, right? So I have a pre-configured layer on the top of IaaS, but I don't have control on this infra, right? Network, storage, device. That if I as a IaaS, then I have that PaaS, IaaS. But with the PaaS, it is more on building on top of it. So we have control from there onwards. So it is like a supply and on-demand environment for developing, testing, delivering, and managing a software application. But it is independent of hardware. I'm not bothered about hardware, how it is managed and all. But I have a control on my software part. But it is a least control over the infrastructure. So it's a middle layer. Example, if you want to give me, like OpenShift, you have heard about it. Oh, Heroku, Google, right? These are like the platform as a service you can use. Okay, I hope this is clear. Again, any question, put it in the comment. We will try to answer it. Then moving to the last layer, which is the top layer, that is a SaaS, which is a software as a service. So when we say software as a service, it is more about only consumption. You are not going to build anything, or you are not going to take care of your infra, scaling and everything. You're just going to use it, consume it. So that is a software as a service. So it is basically a pre-configured layer again on the top of PaaS. So you are not bothered about software implementation, neither the infra. You are simply a consumer. So it is a complete software solution, pay as you go model, right? And it works over internet, and it has the least control amount of a control. Okay, so example, if I give you the end users, like most of us, we use like Gmail, LinkedIn, Office 365, Salesforce. We don't know how it is implemented, where it is hosted, anything. We just use it, we consume it. So that is a SaaS. Okay, is it clear? SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Any question, comment, just put it into the comment section below video. Okay, last point we want to cover as part of our basic cloud computing concept is our share responsibility model. So as we said, right, there are three types: SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, and also there is a on-prem. So in traditional way, or old days, right, when we were having our own data center, IT companies used to manage, and everything used to be on premises. So on-premise is the old way. Now we are with cloud computing, we are moving towards either IaaS, PaaS, or SaaS. So the share responsibility model shows same thing. If you see the right side, right, on-premise, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, and this side we mention the responsibilities. So as we know, if my on-premise, right, I have to maintain everything. I have to control like everything with respect to infra, whether it's operating system, physical host, physical network, physical data center. I have to take care of it. Even I have to take care of the application part. So identity, directory, infrastructure, applications. That also I have to take care. If I'm on-prem, even I have to take care of the the software part as well of it, like information, data I'm doing, devices, any mobile PCs, accounts, identity. So everything was in my control, but I have to do all this job as well on my own. So it is all customer responsibility when it was on-prem. Now with cloud computing, as if we start using it as a IaaS, right, as an infrastructure as a service, then cloud provider only has to take care of the infra part. So that is physical host, physical network, physical data center. But remaining all other responsibility of software and platform will be with the customer only. Now if I use a service like a pass, then in that case I will have more control compared to IIS as a customer, right? So there would be the infra again will be taken care by a cloud provider. Software will be with me as I am the person like with the customer basically, but within a platform part, as it's a platform as a service, few things will be shared between customer and cloud provider, like the data confidentiality security, that is taken care by the customer only, but remaining maintaining it, updating patches and all that will be taken care by cloud provider. So there comes a share responsibility when it is about the pass. When we move to the SaaS, from PaaS to SaaS, suppose as a customer I want to use software as a service from cloud computing, then what I have, my responsibility is only the software part of it and few part of from the platform like identity and characteristics. So there would be the shared responsibility between cloud provider and customer. So this diagram is trying to show you, what is going to be the responsibility of customer, cloud provider, and which are all the shared responsibility between both of them. Clear? Okay. If you are clear with this computing, this stack structure in the previous slide about the types of cloud computing services, I think this model to understand share response model is very straightforward. Okay. I hope you understood all the basic concept which we discussed till now. If any question, any doubt, just put it into the comment below video. And let's have now fun time. So last slide is about just to understand what we understood from this discussion till now. Okay, so I have few questions for you guys. So, and I want you to, read through these all the questions. Either note down the answers on some paper or remind in your mind, the answer for each of this question. Keep it in your mind. Next I will show you the answers as well, but I will give you some time to think over it first, then I will tell you the answer. So very first question is like, what is cloud computing? So is it a delivery of computing services over the internet, or is it a delivery of storage services over the internet, or it's a delivery of networking services over the internet? Yeah, just think for a few seconds. I will give you time to think over it and just put into the again comment section below video, right? If you know the answer, or you just keep in your mind. So answer to this question, right? Just remind it. Second question is about multi-cloud is same as hybrid cloud. True or false? Okay, perfect. If you noted your answer, we'll move to the third question. Like, according to the shared responsibility model, which cloud service have least control on the end users, whether it's an infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service? Okay, I hope now you have answer for all these three questions. Now I'm gonna show you the answers for this. So what is cloud computing? So cloud computing, as we saw in initial discussion, like it is the delivery of the computing service. So right answer is the delivery of computing service over the internet, right? Second, multi-cloud is same as hybrid cloud. No, we discuss, right? Because hybrid cloud is something like, it is composed of one or two or more different types of cloud. But what is multi-cloud? Multi-cloud is actually a combination of different cloud providers, services from the different cloud providers. So it's not the same. So answer is false. Third question was, according to the shared responsibility model, which cloud service have least control over the end user? So we know, right, IaaS is something the most control. Middle layer is the PaaS, that is a platform as a service. So which one is left is SaaS, that is a software as a service. So answer for the third question was a SaaS, that is software as a service. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Any comments, suggestions you have, please share. And in next session, I will come with few more interesting topic again within a cloud computing. Thank you again for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel for the more videos.